Happy Spiritual Sunday. Welcome back. Welcome back, Spiritual Sunday from the Boca Kabbalah Center. So let's get started. For those of you online, here we have, okay, great, backwards. All right, for those of you live, awakening and strengthening our consciousness of the truth, basically the universal truth, so we can not only be better ourselves, but since we always talk about there's only one soul, if we're better, then we're bringing everybody else up with us. And that's it. So the higher we go, the higher the world is. So let's say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. Okay, so let's see how this goes. So depression, I wanted to talk about depression. Someone was telling me, you've got to start talking on subjects. So for whatever reason, as we'll talk about it a little bit today, I realized, depression, probably most of us don't think we're depressed. But as we'll understand today, we all have aspects because it's not just an all or nothing. It's not like you think of people, and I knew somebody who years and years and years ago was like 5 or 6 years, couldn't get out of bed. Just that depressed, couldn't get out of bed for 5, 6 years. So we may not be like that, but like everything else goes, there's degrees. You have high beams and low beams. You follow, a car moves 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. There's all kinds of a range of that. So at least in moments, as we'll talk about, we probably all get depressed. Even if you think in simple terms, what makes a depression, somebody depressed? They're happy one moment, something happens, and then they're not happy. Isn't that a depression? In the community that I live, they, I don't know why they do it now in the rainy season, but, we had those little speed bumps. So, whatever it was, last Thursday, I guess it was, or Wednesday, they had the guys come with these, backhoes to take the asphalt bump away and leave a depression in the street. Well, the next day when it started raining, nobody shows up. So now it's sitting there depressed, right? You got these depressions, so various people. I see people just ride right over it like it's no big deal. And then you see people who are a little slow. They go through it so they don't, hurt the tires or however you want to look at it. But there's a little bit of depression. It was filled and now it's depressed. And hopefully they're going to come by soon and fill it back up. So if you think about every time that somebody pushes our buttons or something pushes our buttons, that's a form of depression, isn't it? You're happy, comfortable, happy-go-lucky, you're excited about some meeting or some friend or some social thing you're going to go to, and then something happens and suddenly now you're unhappy. It's just a minor form of depression. In simple terms, you're depressed in the moment. Right? Don't take it overly bad, like, oh my God, is he saying I'm a depressed person? Like the guy I'm telling you who was 5, 6 years in bed all day. No, but we have to start being aware because as we just affirmed, consciousness is everything. So I actually spoke yesterday a little bit. There is also, as I look at it, conscious unawareness. In other words, when people are reactive, when they behave reactive, we're learning how to stop our reactivity and transform it. But when a person just knee-jerk reacts, it's conscious unconsciousness. They are unconsciously, right, meaning they're not consciously aware, but they have consciously taught themselves. Somebody screams at them, they scream back. Somebody yells at them, they yell back. Somebody, does something nasty to them, it's a consciousness that they are now unaware of because it's been so habitual. Like now I'm saying it, if I ask you, when you start walking, right? If I ask you, get up, stand up now and start walking, which foot goes first, right or left? You got to think about it because it's so unconscious. Why? Because we've just trained ourselves. You get up and whichever foot it is, it's just natural. But it was a consciousness that you are now unaware of, unconscious. So in many various ways, we are all consciously unconscious. We have the buttons, we have our klipot, we have those curtains, whatever name we've given it. Those we have created consciously, but now it's so habitual, we're unconscious about it. So this idea of even depression, we have it in moments throughout the day. Look back at your week. Were you ever unhappy? Were you ever angry? Were you ever impatient or things like that? That's a form of depression, right? Because the moment before they pushed your buttons, you were happy, you were comfortable, you, so to speak, felt full, filled up. And then this thing or this person or whatever it was took away the fullness. So this is why I start to look at it like a balloon, right? You ever, okay, so I'll just put on me. So sometimes we have an event here, and I remember not long ago, so they asked us to blow up balloons. So you blow up balloons and then you got to tie them, right? So sometimes if you blow it up, and when I was going to tie it, for whatever reason, my finger slipped, etc., and the air goes out. So what happened to the inflated balloon? It got depressed, right? Deflated. Or sometimes if it wasn't, well, along the way, I guess, manufactured, whatever, you blow it up and it's full as you can get it. You tied it up and everything, but then you start to notice there's a little leak in it. And slowly, the air goes out, and what happens to the balloon? It goes from totally inflated, slowly, it gets deflated, depressed. And so we have to come today, especially, to an awareness of how we do that. So I wrote down just a couple examples so you'll think about it. So person says they don't like their job. Depression, less than inflated, right? But they need the money, so they got to stay in the job, right? They can't quit now. Or with the relationship. How many people have you ever come across that you know that they know it's not the right relationship and it's not going well in various ways, but they're hanging in there? Why? Who wants to be lonely? You know, at least meanwhile I got something. Or health issues. How many people do you know or have, maybe, okay, hopefully not us, but you know, where people are comfortable with their health issues. Everything was great and wonderful, and then something happens, and either they're scared to go take care of it, they don't think they can take care of it, or that voice in their head will start to rationalize, Joe has it a lot worse than you, so it's not so bad. So then they live with it. But it's like that slow leak that still things are going and going and going. Because eventually, it's like the guy I knew way back in high school who had trouble with his tooth, but he didn't want to go to the dentist. So of course it didn't get better on its own. It got worse and worse and worse until it was so bad that he had to go to the dentist because the pain was overwhelming. But he could have done it sooner. But he didn't have the consciousness, let's call it, as we'll use the term today, of the depression. The fact that he wasn't as full as he had been. And the beauty of what you and I learn, how full did the Creator fill us up? In fact, I didn't even think of this. When we left the endless world, we were completely full, filled 100% as maximum capacity. But we had the free will in this world to express that light, to express all that goodness, or not. That's our free will. So slowly, since metaphorically, as we learn here, the time of Adam and Eve, you and me as Adam and Eve, we did the negative mistake, and we started to put the little hole in that balloon, and slowly the air went out. How do you know? Because Adam and Eve, you and me, the true soul, and most of us, I'm sure all of us who are listening, and those of you who study in the center, we know the soul is immortal. So the soul's immortal. Why isn't the body? Because of what we did in that Garden of Eden. We ate of the tree of knowledge. We disconnected from the light. So we put that little hole. So like I remember learning from my teachers, it wasn't instant death, right? If you read the Bible, and this is why the Zohar says you cannot take the Bible only on its literal level. But if you try and take it literally, it says, God tells Adam and Eve, eat of the tree of knowledge, you'll die. So they ate of the tree of knowledge. They didn't die for almost 1,000 years. 900 and something years they live. So people say, see, God said they would die. Well, they did die. They were supposed to be immortal. We're supposed to be immortal. Like the soul. The more we allow the soul to control our every thought, word, and action, the more of our soul's immortality we can live, we can experience. And that's why they lived 900 and something years. And if you count even by the Bible, slowly, 800, 700, 600, then it went down to whatever it was some centuries ago, 30, 40, now it's back up to whatever, 70, 80, things like that. So if you look at it in those terms, there was the deflation from 1,000, or technically immortal, down to the 30, 40, whatever it was, some centuries ago, and now it's starting to get inflated again. And if you think about it, wow, you guys are really good. if you think about it, what's changed in the last 20, 30 years really is more and more people, because of the awakening of the soul, because of the Kabbalistic timetable, the souls are awakening. So more people have been turning in towards various forms of spirituality, which means not just a way to meditate or whatever, but the true spirituality is a way to connect with the light of the Creator. Like refill, inflate, if you will, that balloon. Inflate our life, our beingness to an equality with our soul. Because technically the soul is always full, like the light. The light is infinite, so there's no emptiness. But it's from the vessel's point of view, like air. In fact, relative to a tire, but we can use the balloon since we're using the balloon. I remember the first time I heard the Rav say, the air is infinite. So in our case, we'll use the balloon, but the Rav was talking about a car tire. When the balloon deflates, what happens to the air? Does the air go away? No, technically the air doesn't move. It's the physical plastic of the balloon that moves. But the air is still there. So when you think of the balloon deflates, the air that was there in that space is still there, but the balloon shrunk. You understand? Yeah, the vessel shrunk. That's it. Our job is to let our vessel shine 100% with the light of the Creator. Then it can stay forever. That's it. But the vessel shrinks. The light doesn't go away like the air. The room is still full with air no matter what you do with a balloon or a tire or whatever. It's still there. It's just from our point of view, the balloon, the tire, whichever you want to be in the moment, from our point of view, it looks like the light's not there. Darkness is not real. Darkness is our misperception. It's our lack of awareness. It's our lack of consciously perceiving that the light is there, which is what we want to get to. So what goes along with this process? So you get the idea, even in our micro way, when those little things happen during the day. We're happy, you're driving down the street, then somebody doesn't drive the way you like, and now you start to be a little upset, a little judgmental, a little impatient, whatever it is. Depressed. Your balloon just deflated a little bit, right, at that moment. And then what's usually the next thing that happens? Whether you say it to yourself, you scream it out loud, or unfortunately some people, they'll pull up to the next car, pull the window down, and now start yelling. What are they doing? It's okay. Complain. Why is that driver in my way? Why is that thing happening? How come I did this? How come they're doing that to me? Whatever it is, complaining. And the issue with complaining, yes, how many of us like to have people sit in front of us for 20, 30 minutes and just complain? You know, you don't feel good with the energy, right? It's like they're trying to suck the energy from you. So, but it's not about that. What I learn here in the center and what I share with you, it's about what does complaining do to the complainer. That's the most important. Every action has an effect. Everything we do cause and effect exactly goes out and comes back to us, not them. You could be angry at them. You could complain about them. You could scream and yell at them. But all that negative energy is not really going to get them. It's going to go out, make a circle around the universe, and come back to you, the one who's doing that negative action, because it is cause and effect based on us. So when a person is complaining, that complaint, like any other negative behavior, creates a curtain, klipa we call it, a curtain, a veil, blocks the light. So, like the story of Moses, and I'll just share with you quickly, because again, we know that the Zohar says you can't take the story only literally, because if you take it literally, you learn no lesson really. The greatest lessons we can learn is what spiritual technology, what spiritual laws of the universe are we being shown an example of, so we don't make the same mistake. Because like we often talk about, as far as I always learn, we're supposed to learn history, so we can learn from history and not make the same mistake. But if you look at the last 3, 4, 5,000 years of history, we haven't learned. We learned how, fighting, war, all this stuff, but we didn't learn. We just repeat the same mistake in a different form, a different disguise, that's all. So we didn't learn. So you and I are learning from the Zohar how to look at everything, particularly, let's say, the code of the Bible, the 5 books of Moses, in a way that we understand the laws of the universe. So it says, and this is the point of complaining, cut the story short, Moses, if you remember Moses, called by God, go tell Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, let my people go, right? And free the Israelites from the bondage of Egypt. So Moses goes, he talks to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh makes the work harder, right? Whatever way, if you read the Bible, but it makes the work harder. So Moses goes back to God and says, God, I went in your name to Pharaoh, told him what you said, and he made the work harder. Why did you do that? A form of complaining. So the Kabbalists say, because of that simple thing, Moses, like 99.99999% pure, maybe we even want to say 100, but that little bit of complaining, even though it wasn't about him really, it was about how did they make it bad for everybody else. That's why it says he couldn't go into the promised land, because he blocked his light. So if it took, let's say, 10,000 pieces of light to go from Egypt into the promised land called Israel, his complaining took away 20 pieces. So he didn't have all 10,000 needed to go the whole journey. Like if you want to go from here, if you have an exact amount of gas to go from here, Boca, to Orlando, you want to go to Disney World. But somewhere along the way, you just sit in the parking lot with your foot on the gas and just using up the gas. At some point, you're going to have to stop before you get to Orlando to refill, because you wasted some of that energy. That's the problem with complaining. It's not just about the other person or, that sort of thing. Like we generally think of complain, who likes a complainer? No, we need to understand what it does for us. Every complaint takes away some of our light, and therefore we don't have enough to get to our objective. You have to add more. Or like we said with the balloon, it starts to deflate, so you got to put more air in it. Whereas if you were able to keep it whole, without putting those little holes in it or big holes in it, it could stay technically for a long time. It would stay full. So it's the same thing. Every complaint, like a little pinhole. So it doesn't pop it right away, but a little bit goes out. And you understand? That's the problem. That's the problem. So we've got to start being more consciously aware of how we complain. Because going back to why do people complain? Okay, don't say it out loud, but think about the last time, now that it's being made clear, think about the last time you complained. In essence, what are we really saying? That shouldn't have happened. Which means what? I don't believe in cause and effect. Because we have to say, as we've come to understand, there is only an absolute, infinitely detailed law of cause and effect. Nothing. You watch the flames over here flickering. There's a cause. Even the Kabbalists will tell us, because they're talking to us. We may not understand the language of the flame, but they're talking to us. You go outside in the wind, right? And a leaf blows in front of your eyes. There's a reason why that happened. Yeah, it's easy for us to dismiss it, because unfortunately we may not be on the level of some of the great Kabbalists to know exactly why that leaf blew in front of us, but it's cause and effect. So if a person gets hit by the leaf and then complain, oh, why me? What do they say? No cause and effect. Because we don't remember what we did, nor in the cases like that, we may not be able to perceive what we did that made that happen. But certainly with people and situations, we have to say, it doesn't exempt them from their nasty behavior. It doesn't excuse their nasty behavior. But if we start to complain, if we don't see it as cause and effect, one, we shorten our light, right? We cut short some of the light, block some of the light. And if we believe, even in that moment, that there's no cause and effect, then you have no control over your destiny. So more of the same has to happen. Once you understand cause and effect and make use of it, you have absolute control over which direction in life you go, the light or the darkness. You may not be able to decide all the details on those paths, but you decide the path of light or the path of darkness, the shorter path to your ultimate 100% bliss, or the longer, more painful path. That's the choice we have, but not what the details will be. And this is why we learn from Kabbalah 1, no, everything is cause and effect. Everything that happens to me is from my soul, wants to help give me a message so that I can grow. And like this, that in Egypt, going back to the story, we were supposed to be in bondage, slavery of Egypt, as it's written, for 400 years. Supposed to be, because of all that we had done previously. But we were able, if you read the story, it says after 210 years, means we cut it short 190 years. And the Kabbalists say, how did that happen? For exactly that reason. Once you say, I want to speed up my spiritual process of having all my blessings. Once I want to get to my nirvana, my heaven on earth, my piece of utopia, whatever it is, I want more peace, love, protection, prosperity, all that good stuff. The only way to do it is by fixing the mistakes you've made. Like the balloon. If you have one balloon, and obviously metaphorically you have the one balloon, if it starts to deflate, you have the one balloon, you got to blow it back up. There's no other balloon you're going to get, so to speak, in life I'll find it in another way. No, it's been hidden. Because every time we do something reactive, we take a piece of our soul's light, put it in a package of whatever it is, fear, anger, insecurity, guilt, shame, victimization, blame, whatever it is. And then it gets put, I look at it as my spiritual warehouse. And then when I say, I want more blessings, so the warehouse manager, my soul, says, okay, which package do we have to bring to Chaim that when he unwraps it, will have the blessing he's asking for. So then in the same way, when we, as those Israelites in Egypt, cried out, as it says, to the Creator, hey, we want to be free, why was it the first thing had to get tougher? Because we had to face the wrapping on the package of our light called anger, jealousy, blame, insecurity, whatever. That's why it has to at least look challenging right away. It can't just go, the yellow brick road and, the gold stairway to heaven or something like that. No, it has to be challenges. Because we packed away our light, we have to unpack it. So this is why it happened. So what are we going to do? And first, is to think about, and maybe it's a little clearer now, because part of the lesson we learned from the story of the Exodus was for years and years and years, we, the Israelites, we were not aware we were even in bondage. The moment you point your finger and blame somebody else, until now, do you really believe or understand that you're in bondage? You're in bondage to that illusion. They made you feel bad. They made you upset. They made you jealous. No, there's no such thing. They didn't make you. They pushed your button. They may have touched your wound, but they didn't make you feel bad. The wound, the button, is what made you feel bad. Because if you heal the wound, like I always say with a little burn, person burns himself, when it's first burned and the skin peels off, it's very sensitive, so you touch it on anything, it hurts. Not because they're intentionally, right? The wound. Because then when the wound heals and you do like this, even intentionally, it doesn't hurt anymore. So we have to come to understand that. So for hundreds of years, we didn't realize we were in bondage. I think I told you, I had a student years and years ago when I was teaching in LA, was a producer. And at the height of his career, he had 5 houses in America. And after a few years of sort of, enjoying what he thought was success, he started to realize he was not the owner of those houses. He was the slave to those houses. Because he started to realize how he spent so much time thinking about what kind of landscaping, dealing with the gardeners for each of those houses, which cars were going to be there, which guests could stay at which house, and this and this. He realized he was the slave to all this possession. So he got rid of them, and then he told me at that point he would teach his employees if they were going to a business meeting. He said, if you go to a business meeting, and when you give the keys to your car to the valet, while you're going into the meeting or you're in the meeting, if you're thinking about what is the valet doing to your car, it's too much car for you. Because you're owned by the car. You're possessed by the car. You're a slave to the car. So how many people are slave to their business, slave to, how their house has to be decorated, I don't know, slave to the social network that they're in or the social circle or whatever. Think about it. Think about it, what it really is. In bondage too. In bondage too. People are in bondage to the gym. They can't go without the gym. They can't go. Okay, let's just make it easy because I want to get to the other steps. People are in bondage to their job. That's why they call them workaholics. They're in bondage and slavery to their job. Not just a hard worker. They're in bondage. So they can be the same thing. People are in bondage. I knew people, friends of my family years ago, they were in bondage to the social status in certain charitable organizations. Because every year there was this big, huge dinner, fundraising dinner, and they were in bondage. Who would be the president? Who would be the one assigning seats? And when it came to the dinners, that was better than the president. The one who had control over who was sitting where was a higher position in that moment for that event than even the president of the organization. And they were in bondage. It was a fight. Who would be, who wouldn't be, jealous and angry if somebody else got it, things like that. It was a form of bondage and slavery. Did they think it was? No. Because they had so trained themselves, as we said earlier, conscious unconsciousness. That was just what was supposed to be. Because they had to be in charge. They had to be the big shot. They had to be the big one. That's it. So we got to think about how are we not aware up until now of how we're in bondage. Even yesterday, if I'll be a little embarrassing myself, I've gotten a lot better, so at least I have that. But I came into this life really with an obsession, and I've come to find out why, with being on time. Not just, I like to be on time, it's respectful. Obsessed, possessed by it, like almost in fear if I would be late. And so once I came to the center and I started to grow spiritually, I realized, it's because my last lifetime I was in Auschwitz, and in Auschwitz, if they said be there at 9:00 and a person showed up at 9:0001, they'd just shoot him or something like that. So I realized that's where it came from, and over the years I've gotten better. In fact, there was one time where when we used to travel, as a family when my kids were young, and we were traveling somewhere, and I'm saying, hurry up, because there was a time limit. Hurry. And I could see myself, and I could even I couldn't control it so much, I knew what I was doing. I mean, I realized I was being a little overbearing. And so I started to change myself, started working on it, doing, in this case, the Anabakok. So one time we came to a situation like that, and I'm sitting there, calmly on a Bakach, I'm reciting the meditation. One of my kids came over to me and looked at me and said, what did you do with my dad? Like he was expecting me to be screaming, yell, overbearing, hurry. So I knew that was a change. So like we always talk about, 100% is 100%. So even if I was at 98% overcome that, I still have 2% to go. So I realized yesterday, came to my awareness, the tiny piece that's still left. It wasn't so much whatever it was, but I realized I had that piece left, that there was still that piece. So I had to work on it. I had to let it be okay. I had to let go of it. I had to transform it. But this is, for me, probably the most fundamental, powerful awareness that I've gained, and I believe all the students can gain in the center, is how to realize where we're in bondage. Yeah, we learn all the rest, where it comes from, how we came into this world, what the system is, but if you can't find where you're blocked, you can't unblock yourself. When you hire a mechanic for your car because you hear a noise, if the mechanic can't hear the noise or find the problem, they can't fix it. So you've got to be able to find where you're blocked. You've got to be able to find where you're still enmeshed in the mud, in the physical material world, where you're still in bondage to something. Right? Think about it. Simple thing. How many of you may still have either guilt or anger, resentment towards somebody who's no longer in the world? That's a form of bondage, isn't it? Especially if they left the world. You can't even go find them and scream at them or try and make up with them. They're not here. So why are you still resentful, or why do you still have guilt? Bondage. Bondage. Those are the things. And the point is not to feel bad about them. Once you see it, you can say, wait, now you use the system that we teach here, how to transform it, how to draw light out of it, like we did as Israelites 3,400 years ago. First, we had to realize, yeah, we're in bondage. So I want to give you a few steps here along those lines. Because remember, up to that point, like we said, the depression, things look good. Even if I still have some anger, jealousy, ego, fear, whatever it may be, but in the moment I'm saying, hey, life looks pretty good. So I don't even realize I'm in bondage. So here we start. Steps to get started. One, you got to close the leak. Right? If you have a balloon with a leak, you gotta start closing it. How do you start closing it? Just be conscious, like we've been saying. Be conscious that I'm trapped in the darkness. Be conscious that I poked a hole in it. I took the action, even if it was reactively, but I took the action to poke the little hole because they said or they did. Right? Kind of foolish. I poked a hole in my balloon because of what they did. Not that they're poking the hole in my balloon, and not that I'm poking the hole in their balloon. Should I tell you that story? 8th grade, they were these two guys. Don't ask me why. I have no concept other than kind of a macho type of thing. But these two guys got in a fight in the PE class. So they said, okay, see you after class. So I'm not going to go even then, I'm not bothered with that stuff. But the next day I heard what happened. What was their fight? They didn't fight like boxing each other. What was the way to settle their fight? They each took a knife and they took turns cutting their own arm to see who could go the most times without giving up. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, talk about, I don't know, silly foolishness. Not that I prefer they beat each other up. So at least in that way, they weren't beating each other up. They were doing to themselves, but it was obvious they were doing themselves. But this is what you and I do when we're reactive. The car in front of me that doesn't do what I want, and I start to feel impatient or bothered by it, it's as if I'm beating myself up. I'm smacking myself. Why? Because of them. And then I will look at them and say, it's their fault. No, I smacked me. Yes, I had all the justification. That nasty imposter voice in our head, the opponent, made me understand, rationalize, well, they did look at them. Even when they did something dangerous, foolish person. But if I get angry at them, I'm poking that little hole. So the first step is close the leak. Have conscious awareness that we've trapped ourselves in darkness of what I didn't see 5 minutes earlier. So that's a step forward. Don't let that nasty voice in our head tell you that it's a bad thing that you found you have some darkness, you have a blockage. It's a good thing. Because if you can't find the problem, you can't fix it. So then what do? Then put in your mind, awaken it, strengthen it. The only thing that can help me inflate is the light. Because the only source of lasting fulfillment is the endless light of the Creator. The nice part is the light is infinitely available and I'm full of light. We're all full of light. All I have to do is let it express, let it go out. Third step, how do you fill yourself now? So you close it up, you realize, like with the balloon, and don't tell me helium, but you'll get the idea, only air could fill it up. That kind of thing. Okay, so you have to get access to the air. So if only light will bring endless fulfillment and true lasting fulfillment, so how do you get the light? Like attracts like. So if the light is constantly sharing, like these lights in the room, they're sharing and that's all they do. They don't care we like them, don't like them, whatever it is, their nature is just to share. So if we want to connect with the infinite light, like attracts like. So you have to imitate. So you act like the light. So find ways to be more kind, more grateful, more apologetic to people. Go apologize to somebody. You, instead of holding on to your guilt, you feel you bad because you did something to somebody or said something, go apologize. Why just wallow in the pain of guilt? Go apologize. Why not? Oh, because then they'll think I'm this and that. So what? Remember, my life is my action, my thoughts, my words. Cause and effect is based on me, not on you. We can help each other, support each other, but cause and effect is based on me, your life on yours. So, whatever it is, be kind, be compassionate, be more generous. Go give charity, go volunteer somewhere. Go help. Go help. Act like the light, you start to fill yourself up. And that, you want to shorten the process, like we did in Egypt, from 400 years to 210. So the same thing. As you're operating now, there's a certain amount of time, if you stay on that speed, let's say of sharing, there's a certain amount of time to get to your destination, 100%. But if you go faster, like the car, 20 miles an hour, take you an hour to go 20 miles, yes? See if you can do the math. If suddenly you drive 60 miles an hour, only takes you 20 minutes. But to go 60 miles an hour, you have to put in extra effort, right? You push on the gas, has to use up more energy faster, but you speed up the process. So the same thing, the more we will make an effort to do more transformational sharing, which means uncomfortable, forgive the person I didn't want to forgive, right? Give and help in ways I didn't want to give and help. So for me, actually the simplest, not easy for everybody because of our own perceptions, but the most powerful, I mean, think about it. If you had to move everything in your house in an hour, what would be conceptually the easiest way to do it? Get help. If you get 3 people, it'll go so fast. If you get 30 people, it goes much faster. You understand? The more people you have helping you, supporting you, the faster you can achieve your goal. So if our goal is to be at our 100% manifestation, then the more people we help along the way. So for me, and that's the beauty of what the center is and does, simple. Support the scholarship program so more people can learn, who may be because of whatever their financial situation, they can't afford all the classes or whatever right now. So give to the scholarship fund. Therefore, it's the same thing. You're drawing on help. So if you can sponsor 10 people, take a Kabbalah 1 class or a Kabbalah 2, whatever it is, then you got 10 more people helping you with your spiritual growth, which means how will that look practically? Most likely, probably most often, will be when you're about to do something negative, the voice of your soul that's sitting metaphorically on this side of your head will be that much louder than the voice of the opponent, the adversary that you got in your head over here. So when that voice is louder, it'll be easier to hear, no, don't scream and yell. Remember, cause and effect, whatever it is, you have more support. That's more than likely what it'll be. Or when you're about to walk out of your house forgetting something that you need when you drive 20 minutes to get to your destination, and you forgot it, just as you're about to walk out, boom, the voice of your soul, don't forget this, the paper, or whatever it is you need. That's probably more practically the way that will happen. But it's because you've just enabled 10 other people to grow their consciousness. So they're helping you on a spiritual level grow yours or have those things. Or of course, the most powerful, oh, that's right. Oh, put it in the wrong pocket. I just dry cleaned it. So Zohar, the ultimate goal of the center is the Zohar project. You spread the books of the Zohar. They shine the infinite light of the Creator. You enlighten everybody on earth. And like we said, the only reason people do, like you and I do our smaller reactive behaviors, or the world out there is doing rape, robbery, murder, terrorism, all of that, the only reason is they're in the cover of darkness. So you spread Zohar, which means light, illumination. You spread the light, people start to see more clearly. Like we're saying today, their own bondage, their own negativity, they start to feel pain of their negative actions. How come when they do something negative, they don't feel the pain? Because the cover of darkness, right? They have justifications. Well, those people screamed at me, I can scream at them. Yeah, but I don't feel the pain of reactive behavior, not at that moment. So the more we're enlightened, the more we'll feel that pain. So those two things, the scholarship and the Zohar project. You speed up the process. Now you've drawn more people to help you. You can move out of your house in an hour, or you can get what needs to be done more quickly because you have more help. It's not complicated. or even start along the way. Just tell people. People ask me, how do I explain to my friends Kabbalah? What should I tell them to encourage them to come take a class or come, look into it or whatever? Like they're expecting they should be a teacher. No, the easiest thing is I started to realize years back, just like when you watch an advertisement on TV, in simple terms, what's the point? You see an advertisement, oh, I'm interested in that product. You find a friend who bought that product. What do you generally ask your friend? Do you ask them, well, how is it made? What is it made of? Where did it ship from? How did they manufacture it? What do you really want to know? Did it work? I saw it on TV. It looks so great. Clean my laundry. I know you've used it. Does it really clean your laundry like that? You want to know yes or no? So when your friends say, well, what is Kabbalah and this and that? Just tell them what it's done for you. Help me stop. It helped me deal with my negative emotions. It helped me deal with situations in my life. They just want to know it works. You don't have to teach them. Well, Kabbalah 1, you do this and this and this, and this is what Kabbalah. No, they just want to know it works, going to make their life better. Then they'll come. The teachers will teach them. The classes will teach them. They just tell them that it works. So don't be shy. Look at what's going on in the world. Why should we be shy? I'm not telling you to go out and preach and, harangue people to be here, but at least share with them. Kabbalah's helped me. It created this miracle for me. It changed this, how I looked at life. It changed my pattern, whatever it is. Just share that. When they're ready and that inspires them enough, then they'll show up. That's it. Just make it simple. So we got to know cause and effect is exact. The challenges that we face are there exactly opportunities for us to fix our mistakes, to transform our negative actions into sharing actions, which then will take away the covers of darkness. And once you remove the covers, then the light shows up. So you want to get out of your depression? Go share your light, fill other people. Because as you're sharing your light, you're influencing them. As they're being influenced, your light is also getting brighter and brighter. And the brighter your light, your depression fades away. Your balloon starts to get filled up. And you live life with greater joy and happiness and peace and harmony, whether you're facing challenges or whether you're experiencing what you call blessings. You have a greater inner peace. So things on the outside don't take it away from you. And then, like we learned with the Israelites in the desert or in the Egypt, we experience accelerated growth of peace, love, happiness, joy, and fulfillment. God bless. So those of you here, those of you online, this is our time. Free will offering. We do, obviously, I wish I could say we had a couple $2 billion in the bank. We wouldn't need your support. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for all of us. And we, the teachers, some people say, well, you're a teacher of the center. No, I also give to the center. I tithe because I know what I get from it. So we can't do this without your help and support, meanwhile. And so it's a blessing, again, win-win. You get to activate all the network of the center and have a piece of that. And new people out there have the opportunity to grow and have an awakening. And then, of course, that helps us. If there's no thieves in the world, who benefits? All of us. If there's no people doing really dastardly things out there, we all benefit. So the way to stop it is not by trying to get rid of them. And I'm not saying, people shouldn't defend themselves or whatever, but light is the ultimate way to remove all the darkness, the cause of why people are doing those negative things. So we take this time, and let me just put it on here online for you, those of you who are watching. I'm going to put here it is. This is where you can also give your contribution. But meanwhile, let's just hold it for those of you here. Do the meditation with us. Go on there. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I guess it did. Okay, so just hold your offering in your hand because money is a vessel. And after this, we'll do the meditation on the 72 names. Money is a vessel. We want to fill it with love and blessing and light and happiness and joy, and most powerfully, gratitude. That we're grateful to our soul for showing us, even in challenging ways, the things that were holding us back. We're grateful for the times we have learned from it, we've grown from it, and we're grateful now for this new awareness, a greater clarity in what we can do to transform our challenges, the chaos into order, the darkness to reveal light. We're also grateful for the inner sensation, awareness that we are one soul, and to have a greater sensitivity to the pain and suffering that's going on in the 8 billion people around the world, and appreciative of our ability of not only taking ourselves out of this chaos and bondage, but simultaneously, as we share our light, taking them out of their bondage, speeding up and accelerating the process of freedom from chaos, pain, and suffering. And so with this love, this gratitude, I want to send this out through the projects of the center to reach to 8 billion hearts and souls, because we know there's only one soul infused in 8 billion bodies. And so we all are affecting each other. And with what we're doing here, the Zohar, the wisdom of Kabbalah, we're helping bring everybody to an awareness of the light inside them, their ability to have full control over their path of destiny, to be on the light's path with greater peace and love, serenity, and guidance. And together we say, Amen. So I have here, okay. So if you're unfamiliar, or you see it online, there's 3 Hebrew letters, but these are one of what's called the 72 names of God, which simply means 72 facets, aspects of the light of the Creator that activate different parts of our soul. Simple terms for those who are brand new, proteins, carbohydrates, whatever, vitamins and minerals, they're all a little different. They're all made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons, but they all have a different function in our physiology of our body. So too, a Hebrew letter is not just ink on a page, but it's actually a conduit of the light of the Creator. It reaches to the endless world, and it takes on this shape as our body, or our soul takes on the shape of the body when we come into the physical world. So too, so this is Hey, Kuf, Mem. So this combination helps us overcome depression, fill ourselves back up. So eyes are the window to the soul, and that's why what we call scanning, or just envisioning these 3 shapes, Hey, Kuf, Mem, will awaken the light that will help us refill or inflate our deflated vessel, that the light will be manifest in a stronger, more powerful, and fulfilling way. So just let them be engraved in your mind's eye. Hey, Kuf, Mem. Okay. If I can ask you sit comfortably in your seat, hands on your lap, feet flat on the floor, and begin just relaxing into your soul's light, the light of the Creator all around us, by taking a deep breath in through your nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through the mouth. Breathe deep into the abdomen, filling it up. Let that breath fill you from head to toe, and exhale through your mouth, letting go of the tension, whatever stress, negative thoughts. Just allowing yourself to focus on the breath, the light of the Creator that empowers the air that we breathe, so that we are focused more and more on the infinite light and the true power of fulfillment that is the light of the Creator. Feel yourself relaxing into the embrace, metaphorically, of the Creator, of this unconditional love of the light. Feeling the warmth, the peace, and the security that it brings you. And let's envision a beam of light coming out of the endless world, the upper worlds, coming straight to the top of your head. And now you envision the Hey, Kuf, Mem, just above our head, in this beam of light. And see these three particles of light, the Hey, Kuf, Mem, shining, bright white light of the Creator, vibrating with unconditional love, clarity, blessings. Hey, Kuf, Mem. And now allow it to enter in through the top of your head. And its light of overcoming any form of depression, deflation, by activating the light in every cell of your being from head to toe. Letting all the light of your soul sparkle, shine, be revealed as the Hey, Kuf, Mem, traveling from head to toe, is transforming some of those curtains, some of those veils of darkness from opaque to transparent, that the light that's in your soul is now allowed to shine. Feel that sense of inflation, a new awakening, a new revelation. Set an intention for guidance, for clarity on a certain situation that you're experiencing, a challenge. And also open your heart and your mind to hear the true answer of your soul, even if at first it's uncomfortable. Because we know in the long run, doing even that uncomfortable thing will bring us the greatest blessings. Hey, Kuf, Mem, traveling from head to toe, circulating around inside you, activating the light, more and more of your soul's light, that you see, feel, hear guidance, the solutions to your quandaries. And greater trust that the light is your source of all blessings, true fulfillment. strengthening your desire for that light. And now let's let a beam of this light, Hey Kuf Mem, beam out from our heart and soul, out to the heart and soul of your friends and family. See it also awakening in them a greater awareness of the light, a greater sense of courage, encouragement, that whatever darkness they may be in, whatever challenges they're facing, the solution is also inside them. That they, with the support of the light, have the capability to overcome, to transform, to remove the darkness and reveal light and blessings. And then through them, shine this light from your heart and soul through them out to every person on earth, unconditionally, to the heart and soul of every part of the one soul that the Creator created, that now is embodied in 8 billion people. Hey Kuf Mem, awakening their awareness, conscious awareness of their own actions, awareness that their previous actions have come back exactly in the way they acted, came back to them. They and all of us having a greater awareness, a sense of pain, discomfort at our previous negative behaviors, that it is awakening our stronger desire to shine our light, to set the example physically and spiritually that people will follow along, to act like the light, to overcome their victimization, their complaining, whatever's been holding them back. To channel more light, shining it out, filling themselves up with the light, and removing from their environment, from their beingness, the blockages, the darkness, the curtains that hide their light. That we envision the world shining, greater light, greater love, the brightness taking away the clouds of darkness, the light of the Creator guiding the heart and soul, and therefore the actions of 8 billion people on the planet. More and to a greater degree. And let's envision and consciously keep in our mind, hold the thought, peace and harmony in the world through the shining of light, the awakening of the heart and soul. That we're already tasting more, experiencing more of our peace of heaven on earth, and seeing more of it taking place in the world. Record it in your heart, your mind, and your spiritual eyes, that it will always be with you from this moment forward. And together we'll lock it in our heart, soul, and mind, taking one more deep breath. And then as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes. God bless. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.